Hey, what's up? Todd here, and in this video, I'm not going to teach you a single pickup technique. Instead, I'm going to teach you the one fundamental truth that is going to help you to get women for your entire life. In fact, it's the thing that's going to help you most in success in life, in your entire life. And here's the deal, okay? What is game? Game is a process. It's a process of truth. It's a process of going out, getting experience, and using that experience to create principles, to create rules, to do better each and every subsequent time. And the reason that's what pickup is this. No matter how bad you are when you start, if you have the right process in place, if you just get feedback, learn from it, iterate, more feedback, more learning, you are guaranteed 100% to get good at this, okay? However, if you don't go through the process, or if you start that process with bad assumptions, with wrong ideas that hold you back, you will never get good, okay? And so that's my critical point in this video. It's actually one of the biggest mistakes I see people make, and it's this. Do not treat your assumptions as facts, okay? I'm gonna repeat it. Do not treat your assumptions as facts. Okay, what is a fact and what is an assumption? A fact is something like, I went out, I did this opener on 5 girls, 3 out of the 5 hooked. That's a fact, that's data, okay? An assumption is girls don't like me because I'm too short. Or if I get more money, I'll do better with girls. Or because this instructor said something, it'll definitely work for me. Those are not facts. Those are not based on data. Those are not based on your first person experience, okay? Those are theories, they're assumptions, but they're not facts. And so here's what happens. People start out and they take some assumption as true, and then they start doing this iterative process. Let me try this thing. Okay, that worked. Let me try this thing. That worked. This didn't work, whatever. And they're basing it all on that underlying assumption, right? And if that underlying assumption is false, all the data is not going to be used correctly. It's not going to be gotten the right way. The wrong interpretations are going to be made. And as long as you keep that wrong assumption, it's impossible that you will ever get really, really good, okay? I'll give you an example from science just to illustrate my point, and then we'll get back to game. So for a long time in science, people believed that the world was the center of the universe. People were trying to figure out the orbits, and well, it doesn't work out because the math isn't right revolving around the Earth. They also assumed that the orbits were round. We get rid of those two assumptions. Orbits don't have to be round, they can be ovals, and it can revolve around the sun. All of a sudden, all the math works out, everything falls into line. The fact that they had those assumptions held them back. Okay? It was only once they got rid of that assumption about the Earth and the roundness of the orbits, until they got rid of that assumption, they could never, ever, ever figure out what's actually going on. Same thing. If you take the wrong assumptions, for example, take the assumption that women don't like having sex. If you take that as a fundamental assumption, what's going to come out of that? You're going to think you have to prove yourself to women, you have to trick them into sex, you're lower value and you want something from them, etc. If you take, on the other hand, a different view, which is that women do like sex and it is enjoyable for them, that's going to lead to much better outcomes for you. However, both of those are assumptions. If you took either of those assumptions and they start not meshing with what you see in the real world, you should discard them, okay? First of all, identify what's a fact and what's an assumption. Certain things are facts, certain things are based on your first person experience, and certain things are not. The things that are assumptions, as long as they're useful to you, by all means keep them. But as soon as they're not, get rid of them. Okay? Be willing to discard anything that is not proven from the real world. Anything that's just an idea in your head or something you got from a pickup instructor or some socially conditioned belief, be willing to get rid of any of them, okay? They are not facts. Do not treat your assumption as facts. So at the end of this video, I have an assignment for you. This is the assignment. I want you to sit down, give yourself 20 minutes, and I want you to take a pen and paper, and I want you to write down every assumption you have about game, about women, about value, about what is success with women, about what works and what doesn't. I want you to write them all down explicitly. Say, these are my assumptions. These are the things I believe. And then I want you to look at them and say, which of these beliefs has come from facts and my own experience, and which of them has not. And anything that is not from your own experience, anything that has been verified by real world data, cross it off. And think about the fact that that may not be true. You believe it, but it's not necessarily true. And what you want to do with any of those things is this. Go test them. Go test that belief in the real world. Go test that assumption. And if you get real world facts to back it up, that's now more solid. If you can't get real world facts to back it up, think about, what if I throw this out? What if I throw this thing out? Can I still game without it? What will happen to my game? What else would this mean? And keep growing. Again, because as long as you have that underlying wrong assumption, that's like a cancer. That's something inside your game that's going to prevent you from ever getting to the right level. And this is why so many guys get to intermediate and that's all they get. I see these guys 6 years as intermediates. That's bullshit. That is fucking bullshit. All right, and the reason is they probably have some fundamental underlying assumption about what game is or what they're doing. They think they're doing something right that they're actually doing wrong. And as long as they keep doing that thing wrong, they will never get advanced. Okay, that's the thing. As long as you have fundamental bad assumptions in your game, you will never get to advanced. If you get rid of the bad assumptions and follow the right process, no matter how shitty you start out, you will get to advanced eventually. So that's why it's so critical. Game is a process. Do not treat your assumptions as facts. Question everything.